Every 39 minutes of every single day, someone is killed by a drunk driver. Her arrest has gone viral.
We're gonna make out here.
Do you want to try this first exercise for me?
I will do anything for you, Daddy.
When you look back at this body cam footage, what do you say to yourself?
I thought it was funny. I just want to get home. I don't think of anyone's life but myself.
You have 2 children. How would you feel if Fia came through the intersection and killed both of your children? This is how this happens. This is real. Tonight, we're talking about an issue that leaves every single American's life vulnerable the moment we leave the safety of our homes. It's a national crisis that has been reported to be on the rise for years. I'm talking about people dying from drunk driving, either killing themselves or innocent victims. And it is happening now. Every 39 minutes of every single day, someone is killed by a drunk driver. The number of times per day these inebriated drivers are getting behind the wheel is shocking. How many times? 300,000 times per day, a drunk driver gets behind the wheel. 22-year-old Sophia was recently arrested and charged with DUI with a blood alcohol concentration of 0.15 or higher. Her arrest made international headlines and has gone viral online due to the body cam footage captured during her arrest. Here is just a clip of that footage.
Oh,
You all right?
yes, I just want to counter you.
Well, what's your first name?
Sophia.
Sophia. My name is Nick.
Nick SB. I am under the influence, but I did not drive. Swear to God. I was not.
Sophia, you were driving. You
I
had
was
the car.
not.
Do you remember that you had the car and drive, and then I had to put it in park? We physically saw you driving.
You were asking, babe. You were asking me, babe. You were asking me to take a test without a test.
I'm asking if you're willing to participate in an exercise.
You want me to participate?
Do I
You want me to participate in tests?
do it? If you're willing to, yes.
Hey, Anna, do you want me to do what you want me to do, or do you want me to do what I want to do?
Hey, you can do whatever
Because I'll
you
bust
want.
out. I'll bust out. But I'll do what you want to do, too. Dave, we're going to make out. We're going to turn off the lights here. Hey, Dave. We're going to make out here. Make out here.
Okay, do you want to try this first exercise for me?
I will do anything for you, Daddy.
All right.
You in that suit, I will do anything for you. Nerd!
It's for anybody.
I am a nerd! I am a nerd!
But
I am a nerd! Show it to the body cam. I am a nerd!
anything we do is.
I am a nerd, bro.
Hold on. Anything we do is recorded, and anybody can see that. Mom, dad, grandma, family.
You think I give a I am drunk. I will piss on the street, bro.
I would appreciate if you did not do that.
You and me both, bro.
Yeah.
You and me bros.
I know this is not good news, Sophia, but you are going to jail tonight for DUI, okay?
Well, Sophia, when you look back at this body cam footage, what do you say to yourself about the person you're watching?
I have empathy for her. I feel bad for her, but I think she does have a pretty good sense of humor.
Mm-hmm. I was watching you watch it, and you were having trouble not laughing. And I couldn't tell if you thought it was funny or if it was anxiety that you were having that reaction. Which was it?
I thought it was funny.
Yeah. What was funny about it? What struck you as funny about it?
How inebriated I was and the things that were coming out of my mouth.
Mm-hmm. How about the situation itself? Because you were saying you hadn't been driving, but you actually, the report says you had been driving. You probably can't comment on that specifically, right? Because you have a case pending.
Correct.
So I want to be careful not to ask you to incriminate yourself. Okay, guess I'm looking out for you here and ask you, because I don't want you to say something that incriminates yourself legally. Because have you pled not guilty?
I can't talk about the specifics of any of it, unfortunately.
Well, but you can say what you've pled. You can't say whether you were driving or not. But have you entered a plea?
Yes, there is a deal in the process, but I can't say any more than that.
Okay, that's fine. And I don't want you to. I listen, I'm not trying to get you to say anything, but I want to take a look at what was said in the probable cause affidavit, because we have that here. And if we look at the affidavit, it just says that you were stopping at green lights. You travel for a short distance, and then you just stopped. Then they pulled up to a vehicle to check on you, and you were sleeping. Then after sitting there for a short while, you turned south and you crossed over a certain avenue, and you were driving in the wrong lane when you started traveling again. And then you just stopped and sat there until law enforcement arrived. Do you remember any of that?
Yes.
Okay. And then the probable cause affidavit says that you consented to provide a breath sample and that you blew 0.33 and 0.318, which that's like 4 times the legal limit.
Yes.
And I want to take a look at the blood alcohol content chart just so you have an idea of what that means, because when you look at blood alcohol content and what it does to your brain and to your body, it has a profound impact on your cognitive ability, your coordination, your ability to think and function. And then it gets to the point of whether you can actually breathe or not. And you were completely off the chart, which I'll show you here, because you were 0.330. And you see here at 0.10, you actually have slurred speech, you have poor coordination and balance, motor skills are impaired, but you're off the chart at 0.25. All mental, physical, and sensory functions are severely impaired. You're emotionally and physically numb, and there's a high risk of asphyxiation from choking on your own vomit, and you were past that at 0.33. There's a good chance that your respiration will shut down and you'll stop breathing and die. I mean, there's risk of actual death. How often do you do that?
Not often at all. That was a one-time deal.
Really? Because statistics say that the typical person drives 80 times drunk before they're actually arrested for DUI. 80 times.
I wouldn't say that I've driven drunk ever. Buzzed maybe, but never drunk.
Yeah, never drunk. You said you're shocked that you're alive and that the car's not totaled. I am too. I'm so glad. I'm so glad that you're here to be able to talk to me. I really am.
Me too. I consider that a blessing in disguise because, like you said, I very well, had I made it home miraculously, I very well could have just died in my sleep.
Yeah, that's something I'd be really concerned about. Now, we have to take a break, and I come back and I've got some questions because you want to use this, I think, to help others as well as yourself. And I want to talk about that. Sophia says she has learned her lesson and wants people to know she is taking her DUI arrest very seriously. So I'm going to give her a chance to tell us why she says that after the break. Struggling with foot, knee, or back pain? G-Defy shoes can change your life. G-Defy shoes are FTC approved to relieve pain caused by weight-bearing activities like walking, running, or prolonged standing. G-Defy absorbs harmful shock and returns energy to each step. This means better body alignment and improved biomechanics. Translation? Freedom to do what you love pain-free. G-Defy shoes have your back. Literally. They're a game changer for seniors and veterans who deserve comfort and support. Here's the deal. You can try G-Defy risk-free with a 60-day trial. And right now, listeners of this podcast get an exclusive offer. 50% off orders of $120 or more. Just text Dr. Phil to 91888. That's right. Half off shoes designed to improve your quality of life. So take control of your life. Text Dr. Phil to 91888 or visit gdefy.com today. It's time to feel good again because you deserve it.
Hey, Dave. We're gonna make out here.
Okay.
We're gonna make out here.
No, we are not. Here,
Turn off the
wait,
lights.
stop right there.
Turn off the lights. We're gonna make out.
Wait, stay right there for
Oh.
me. Okay, do you want to try this first exercise for me?
I will do anything for you, Daddy.
All right.
You in that suit? I will do anything for you in this suit, brother. There's no headphones.
Okay. Can you put your feet together
Put my feet together.
and your hands on your side?
Whatever you say, Daddy.
Okay. Now
I'll
before
put
we
my hand on my
start,
hip.
no, I was grabbing my flashlight.
Whatever you want, Daddy.
Okay. I want you to think for like 2 seconds.
I am wearing contacts.
Sophia.
You might have glasses, but I am wearing contacts.
Hey, Sophia.
Why are you such a nerd, bro?
Sophia has been charged with driving under the influence with a blood alcohol content at one time reportedly more than 4 times the state's legal limit. The police body cam footage of her behavior during the arrest went viral. Now Sophia says she wants people to know she is not taking this incident lightly. And you say you want to use this publicity to create awareness to stop people from driving under the influence. Have you commented on this online since then? You got a lot of criticism. You got a lot of people that were actually complimentary of you, but you also got a lot of negative comments, right?
Yeah, and rightfully so.
What were the people saying that were actually complimenting you?
She's hilarious. She's entertaining. She's so pretty, and making fun of the comments I was making to the police officer.
Yeah. What did people say that were criticizing you?
Reminding me how many lives I put in danger. Just saying things like their own personal stories. I lost somebody, or things like that. Just reminding me of the risk that I took.
Yeah. You've actually had a family member that was hit by a semi-trailer truck driver and seriously injured, correct?
That is correct.
And that truck driver was under the influence, is that right?
That's right.
Did that person contact you?
Yes,
And
she
what-
did send me a message.
What did she say?
She reached out to me, basically saying, I love you. If you ever need anything, I'm here for you, no matter what. And then she proceeded to say, DUI is unacceptable. You know what I went through. You know how many people die from DUIs. You know how important you are to me, and I can't, I could never bear the thought of losing you. Your mom could never bear the thought of losing you. Just, reinforcing that message.
Have you put up videos talking about this since it happened?
I have.
And were you joking about it?
I was using satire to reach my audience, not joking about the situation itself, but unfortunately, in order for people to listen to you, you have to have their attention first.
You know, I've spent a lot of time in the litigation arena as a trial scientist, and I've worked in the court system. I've worked with the courts, and I've worked on both sides of plaintiff and defense, prosecution and defense. And everything you put on the internet is open to the courts. They can see it, they can pull it up, they can use it. And when you make a deal or try to make a deal, try to plead out or whatever, they can pull all of this up in a pre-sentencing study to see whether or not you're recalcitrant, whether you're sorry, whether you're sincere about it, and see whether or not they think you've learned your lesson or not. And when you put things on the internet that appear to be making light of the situation to get people's attention or otherwise, you know, they can look at that and say, yeah, she thinks this is all funny.
Yeah, I understand that. Not everybody has the same sense of humor as well.
Yeah. Are you concerned that some of the things you've put up, they can look at and say, yeah, she doesn't get it. She hasn't taken this seriously. She thinks it's all a big joke and she's apt to do it again.
Yeah.
Why would you put those things up? Do you take it seriously?
I do take it seriously, but like I said, that was me using the publicity and starting to create sort of like an example out of myself.
Yeah. Do you have a manager? Do you have someone that's advising you in all this?
I do.
You do? You got a manager when this happened?
Yes, I had a lot of press reach out to me wanting interviews, and it was overwhelming, especially after, you know, I was dealing with emotional, mental, after I found out the videos went viral, because I didn't even know they went viral until I had a friend tell me. So I needed somebody else to kind of deal with all of the attention I was getting.
Are you trying to monetize this and make money out of it?
No, that's not my goal.
What's the manager trying to do? Are they working for free?
No.
So they're making a percentage out of what you make off of this.
Right. But I haven't made any money yet.
But you're trying to make money.
So that I can afford him to manage and deal with all of the people that are trying to contact me. The more connections I feel I make, the more I can spread this message that I'm trying to get out. And like I said, make an example out of myself.
So you're just trying to get the word out. You're not trying to turn this into an opportunity for yourself.
No, absolutely not. I think that's sick.
Because the fact of the matter is, you get in a car when you're inebriated like you were there, where you don't know which end is up, you can't operate the motor vehicle, you're bouncing off of curbs, driving the wrong way, and you hit and kill somebody and take their life from them or leave them maimed and paralyzed or whatever for the rest of their life, and you have to deal with that, you're not going to think it's very damn funny at all. And you know that when you think about it.
Yeah, so actually I was in shock, and I was dealing with a lot of grief and guilt the weeks following the arrest, because I could barely look at myself in the mirror and understand the fact that I was even capable of taking another person's life, let alone my own.
Are you getting thrown out of your apartment?
Yes.
Why?
That's a separate, noise complaints.
And your comment was, hey, I'm going to go out to bars with my friends and come home, right?
Well, I mean, I'm 22 years old. I live downtown. So I don't necessarily think I'm supposed to live under a rock.
No, I'm not asking you to be a nun, but this could be a wake-up call for you that could save you years in the penitentiary, and you think that you felt bad about yourself when this happened. I can tell you, you really feel bad about yourself if you kill or hurt somebody. That's something you live with for the rest of your life, and it isn't funny one bit.
No, I understand that. I have to live with this alone for the rest of my life. Like I said, knowing that I put other people's lives at risk, let alone myself.
Well, I want you to stay with us for the rest of the show and listen to some others and what they have to say. We're going to add to this conversation a full-time bartender who in the last few weeks has turned to sobriety. Why? Well, she says a big reason is to keep from driving drunk, probably 40 to 50 times a year. She admits it. Sophia does not. She says this was the only time she's ever done it. I don't believe that. I don't think she believes it when she says it. But we're going to add this individual to the conversation after the break. Stay with us. $36 trillion. That is the U.S. debt, and it gets deeper and deeper by the day. Our debt has never been higher, nor have the stakes. The government is looking to slash the federal budget by $2 trillion, and no one knows what that will mean for your job, savings, and future. I've seen a lot in my time, and there's one thing I know for sure. You need to prepare before it's too late. I trust Preserve Gold to help protect my wealth, and I strongly urge you to do the same. They are the only precious metals firm I trust and recommend to my family, friends, and audience, and they have a special offer just for you. Text Dr. Phil to 50505 to get your free precious metals guide from Preserve Gold. With gold prices recently breaking records and analysts predicting this trend to continue throughout 2025, you cannot afford to wait. As a bonus, you can get up to $15,000 with a qualified purchase from Preserve Gold. So don't wait. Text Dr. Phil to 50505 today. My next guest, Chase, is a mother and full-time bartender who admits a large part of her 3+ week attempt at sobriety is to keep her from continuing to drive under the influence. She's joining the conversation between myself and Sophia. Now, Chase, you've been listening to everything we've been talking about so far, correct?
Correct.
And you've been very honest with us about your drinking and driving history. 40 to 50 times a year. I'm guessing that's probably an underestimation, but that's pretty candid. How surprised are you that you're still alive or not behind bars for a DUI?
I'm very surprised and lucky because if I were to die or to kill someone else or be behind bars, then I wouldn't be able to sit here and tell my story to hopefully save at least one life.
Well, let me ask you something. And Sophia says she's only done this once, and boy, luck of the draw. I mean, they got her on the very first time she ever got drunk behind the wheel. How bad luck is that? But you say you've done this 40 to 50 times a year, so you've had a lot of practice at it. So let me ask you, what is it you say to yourself when you're getting ready to get behind the wheel of a 3,000 or 4,000 pound missile that you are ill-equipped to control and go drive on the streets where innocent people are going to and from work or to the store or whatever, maybe taking their kids to the emergency room for an asthma attack or whatever, who knows? They're just out there driving up and down the street. What do you say to yourself that gives you permission to put their lives in danger?
Oh, I feel terrible about it and regret it.
No, but at the time, you must say something to yourself at the time that gives you permission to do it. You say something that allows you to go forward. What is it?
I just want to get home. I want my car home. I want to be home. I, at that time, have drank enough that I don't care. Most of the time, it might be 2 or 3 beers after work. I may not be stumbling, but there have been times where I know I definitely should not be behind a vehicle. But I don't think of that. I just think I'm going to get home. I don't think of anyone's life but myself. And that is the selfish thing that I regret all the time.
30% of the people tell themselves that they're okay. They can handle it. Do you ever do that? You think, okay, I can do it? How about you, Sophia?
Absolutely.
Did you tell yourself you were okay?
Yes.
You were so drunk, you didn't know whether you were horseback or afoot. You didn't know what you were doing. And you thought you were okay?
Yes.
Really?
I know, it's stupid.
So all reason and rationale had gone at that point?
Yeah, well, when you're impaired, your judgment is also impaired. 100%.
Yeah. And Chase, you tell people you've only had a couple so you don't get lectured or they won't let you take a car.
Correct. Yep.
So you lie.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I have. Oh, yeah.
Have you all heard of Uber? Taxi cabs?
Yeah. Yes.
So you're willing to say, Chase, you say, I want to get my car home. I don't want to be inconvenienced. So if you hit somebody and they wind up paralyzed from the neck down, and I'm using that as an example because I've talked to these people that's happened to, and they say, okay, I spend the rest of my life in a wheelchair that all I can do is blow into a straw to move things left or right because all I can move is my neck and my head, that's pretty damn inconvenient, but you got your car home. So in weighing these out, you don't really put yourself in the position of somebody spending 30, 40, or 50 years in a wheelchair, unable to move arms or legs, but you got your car home. Do you ever think that through? I'm trying to learn from you two about how selfish you are or how much you put your mind at ease about these things.
I've never actually sat there and thought it through until I made a decision to completely stop drinking. And lately, in the last few weeks, I do think about that now. And
How long have you been
I'm
sober?
going on 6 weeks now.
6 weeks. I thought you said you drank 3 glasses of champagne on New Year's Eve.
I did have a few. 6 weeks in total, I did have a few glasses of champagne New Year's, but outside of that, I've had no liquor, no ciders.
Well, so you have to reset the clock on New Year's Eve because you haven't been sober if you drank 3 glasses of champagne on New Year's Eve. I mean, you're either sober or you're not. Let's not kid ourselves.
I guess, yeah, if you want to be technical about it,
I do.
I'm not going to focus on the glasses of champagne I had in all the years I've been drinking and overall 6 weeks. But one day I had champagne, I would consider myself sober than what I did before.
Yeah. Compared to what you did before, that was a light drinking day is what you're saying.
When you drink all the time, absolutely.
Yeah, okay. Wow. Chase admits sobriety isn't easy because she says it's hard to resist the urge to drink. And if she gives in, driving drunk is a certainty. She knows that about herself. She knows because she's seen her do it. I want her and anybody else thinking about driving under the influence to hear this next story. A mother who tragically lost her teenage son and her husband after a drunk driver killed them both. We'll add her to the conversation after the break. We'll be right back. It's a knock at the door no one wants to get. A police officer informing you that there's been an accident and your loved one didn't survive. My next guest, Sydney, says she knows what that feels like because that's how she learned her loving husband, Shane, and 19-year-old son, Jacob, had been killed in a drunk driving accident while on their way to Jacob's college orientation. Sydney says the driver, who was convicted and sentenced to 280 months behind bars, was a woman with multiple prior DUIs and who was driving on a suspended license. Sydney, I am so very sorry for your loss. I'm so very sorry.
Thank you. Thank you.
You say you think about your husband and your son every single day.
Constantly. There's not an hour that goes by that I don't think about them. There's the big occasions like Christmas, my son's graduation last year, where you just feel this heaviness because their absence is felt so much. And then all the little moments throughout the day, like a song coming on the radio and you think of a memory, or just ketchup. My son loved ketchup. So every time I see ketchup, I think of Jacob and all those other little moments.
Take me through the moment that you put your hand on that doorknob and opened that door.
My first thought was that it was my older son. He's a whitewater rafting guide, and I knew he was on a trip. So that was my first thought. And then the officers asked my name, and they said, "Do you know Shane and Jacob?" And I said, "Yes." And they said, "There's been an accident." And I thought, okay, we're on the next flight to Florida. We'll fix this. And then he said, "They didn't make it." And it was the craziest thing. I thought, don't tell me that. This is the worst candid camera ever. And they were very supportive. And then I had to come in and tell my younger son, and we had a cousin staying with us. And the shock, I feel like I'm still in shock, even a year and a half later.
And this drunk driver, How did they impact your husband and your son? How did the cars come together?
So Shane was taking a left. He had a green arrow to take a left, and there was a car in front of him. He wasn't the first car to go. And the other person was coming straight and had a red light, and she was going approximately, the car computer said it was between 87 and 94 miles per hour, and hit the passenger side broadside. And they said Jacob was killed instantly. And they had a pulse on Shane. But then he died as well.
So she hit him going 90 miles an hour.
Approximately, yes.
Yeah. You know, Sophia, Chase, you two know, you've seen how I've talked about how slow your reactions are, how you can't hardly stand up sometimes, how you're slurring, and can you imagine how fast things are happening when you're in a car and you're moving that fast? Nobody has a chance. And Sydney thinks about, you think about how your son had his father when he died. You think about how they had each other in that split second that car hit them.
My son never got to see 22.
I'm sorry. I really can't imagine. I really honestly can't.
I hope you can take your experience as a learning experience and learn from it and make better choices going forward, because the gravity it's hard to imagine the impact that it can have on other people. You just don't think about it. You think, I'm just getting home, but Shane and Jacob never made it home from Florida.
There's a lot more to it than that. I want both of y'all to think about this while we take a break. I'll be right back. Tonight, we're discussing the consequences of what happens when someone makes the selfish decision to drive under the influence of alcohol. Shockingly, it's reported that fatalities from drunk driving crashes have hit a 20-year high, but yet arrests for DUIs are down. Why? Well, there's just not enough police these days. Sydney knows the reality all too well because her husband and teenage son were both killed by a drunk driver, a woman, who had previous multiple DUI convictions. Sophia, Chase, you guys are seeing this isn't theory. Somebody's killed every 39 minutes in America by a drunk driver. 2 of them were husband and son to Sydney. And you see, this is real. It happened. It could have easily happened to either one of you. And Chase, you have 2 children. You have a 3-year-old, you have an 18-month-old. Have you driven with them in the car when you were drunk?
No, never. I wouldn't do that.
How would you feel if you had them in the car taking them to go buy a toy or something like that, and Sophia came through the intersection and killed both of your children? I mean, this is how this happens, guys. This is real. Drunk drivers kill people. This is a reality. You can joke about it, you can laugh about it, you can explain it away, you can think, oh, this happens to somebody else. But it doesn't. It happens to everybody. And Chase, if you think what happened to Sydney can't happen to you, she lost 2 members of her family. You think you can't lose 2 members of yours? And Sophia, you've had a family member hit by a drunk driver in a semi-trailer truck. What's it take to wake you up? My God. What's it? How close does it have to get? I mean, do you need to spend time in prison? Do you need to? What has to happen here to wake you guys up?
Conversations like this.
I'm trying to save you from being in a situation where you wind up with 280 months in jail and living the rest of your life knowing you've killed somebody and can't ever take it back. I mean, Sydney, what do you say to these ladies?
Just I hope that they can really try to understand the impact of it, and to make good choices going forward. Like you said, call an Uber. I'm not saying that you have to be a teetotaler and not drink. If that is what works for you and that's what you have to do, thank you for doing that. But if you do choose to drink, just plan ahead. If you know you're going to go downtown and hang out at the bars and have fun, take an Uber there, take an Uber back, call a friend, have somebody be a designated driver. I just feel there's no excuse for it.
There's absolutely no excuse for it. Zero. When we come back, what I think Chase needs to do if she's serious about remaining sober after the break. I wanted to speak with Chase before we go about something that I was reading in your history here. It was just a line buried in a paragraph, but it talked about the fact that your friends will try to get you to take a shot, kind of as a celebration. They know you're trying to get sober. It's kind of like, oh, come on, take a shot. And I just want to tell you, if that's the case, you need to get some new friends, because those are not friends. You are gutting up and trying to get sober here on your own, just because you know what you're doing is wrong, and you got people saying, hey, take a shot. You know what? Take a hike. That's what needs to happen. If you got friends trying to get you to abandon your quest for sobriety and take a drink with them, they're not your friends. Those are not your friends. They don't care about you. Those are not your friends, and you need to get some new friends. People that recognize your quality, the fact that you are a working mother and trying to fight a disease, and they're trying to sabotage that, you need to kick them to the curb, because that's not the kind of friends that you want. Please surround yourself with people that share your goals, share what you want, share what you are seeking to put in your life that is healthy.
Right.
It will make a big difference. When you're trying to push a rock up a muddy hill, you want people that are standing next to you trying to push that rock up there, not somebody that's trying to trip you or trying to push the rock down the hill or distract you. You want people that are supporting your healthy goals, and if they're not, get them out of your life. Or tell them straight up, look, you're not helping me. I don't need that. I don't want that. So back off. You're not helping. And I've got something I want to say to Sophia when we come back. By the way, we reached out to the attorney for the driver convicted of killing Sydney's husband and son, and this was the response. My client has not given me permission to speak to the media regarding the case. So there you have that statement. Sophia, I'm going to tell you something. I feel a whole lot better about you at the end of this hour we spent together than I did when we started. I don't know what people are telling you about this, but you're not some airhead. You have the depth to take this seriously, and I have watched you evolve during this hour, and I'm proud of the fact that you seem to be taking this seriously, and I'm really heartened to see that. I get that you are grasping the gravity of this. I hope I'm reading you right. Tell me if I am.
Yes, 100%. I have a whole lot of empathy, and like I said before, I couldn't believe that I didn't injure myself or anybody else, even though I did take that risk. And even though getting behind the wheel impaired is common sense to not do, I did make that mistake, and I plan on learning from it.
Well, I hope this is part of that learning, and I hope both of you will stay in touch with Sydney and, don't let 15 minutes of fame or infamy define you here, because you're better than that. Put this behind you and hold yourself to a higher standard, because you can. And I believe you will. I want to thank my guests tonight for discussing this important topic. None of the three needed to be here or do this. And on drphil.com, we will have a link to a blood alcohol content calculator where you can enter your gender, weight, and what and how much you drank in order to get an idea of what your blood alcohol content might be. And also, don't forget to download the Merit TV app so you can watch Merit TV anytime, anywhere, including live streaming of this kind of content, which I think is important for people to see and share. Thank you all. And Sydney, God bless you. We hope you find some peace in this. We'll see you next time.